Whew. What up, YouTube? DJ Vapes here again, coming at you with another new product review. I received this from Happy Vaper for the purpose of giving you a demonstration and a walkthrough of the ins and outs. This is the Panzer clone from MCV Panzer. So, without further ado, let's get up and close. Let's get up close and personal, and I'll show you all the bits and pieces. Ooh. So, here we have the Panzer clone. What to say? There's so many things to say about this. First off, I do own an authentic Panzer Blackhawk, so I am very familiar and intimate with all the workings of this device. And if I can just get this out there, first and foremost, for a clone, this is constructed probably, I say, the best replica, if you will, of anything I've played with before. The construction, the machining, the threading, all of it is spot on, with the exception of one thing, which I will get into as we continue to watch this video. But here, let me remove my atomizer and show you in detail, piece by piece, what's going on. So the Panzer is a mechanical mod. This is constructed of all stainless, with the exception of some brass pieces here and there. It is modular in design, which means that the mod is configurable to fit a variety of 18 series batteries. So in its current configuration, we have a 18650 mode, and then, as you can see, we can take pieces off of it like that. Let's remove our battery. You can take this piece off, and you can take this piece off, and then, depending how you put it all back together again, it will fit anywhere from an 18350, an 18490, or how I like to run it, an 18650 mode, for your mechanical goodness, if you will. The threading, as you hear, or as you can hear, super smooth. I'm not kidding when I say that this mod is probably the best produced clone that I have worked with to date. The switch here, fully mechanical switch as well, has a reverse threaded locking ring. It goes out, it goes in. It's got a very neat engraving on the bottom. The top cap here, very similar to the Blackhawk, as you can see in design. It's got some channels cut out for airflow. It has an adjustable pin here to stop your battery rattle and to make connection. I will say, when using a flat top battery, very much like the original, you will probably have to spin this almost all the way out. The one difference I noticed with the clone versus the Blackhawk is that the Blackhawk has all copper contacts, 100% copper, whereas the Panzer clone seems to be brass plated. However, in using it, I don't notice a humongous difference in conductivity. You know, some people are humongous, voltage drop whores, are all like, oh, I could taste it. I plume clouds just as well as anybody else, and I can say that in using this mod, I have not noticed a huge difference from the brass versus copper. What else can I say? The bottom portion as well, if you depress the button and raise that pin, you can loosen or tighten the bottom connection as well. That will adjust a little bit of your throw here, and it will also help to reduce battery rattle in the case if this is not enough as well. So let's put it all back together again. You got some venting here as well in the case of a dodgy battery. So see how, ooh, whoops. Oh, so many smooth, like butter. Like, it's honest, and this lock, like this locking ring, it just spins. It's so silky smooth. It's beautiful. Now let's see if I can put it back together again without having to adjust my center pin, which I probably need to do because I messed with it. So we'll spin it in a little bit. It's still too big. Spin it in a little bit more. And there we go. No rattle whatsoever. No sideways rattle. Switch is very nice, very tactile. And stands up pretty, doesn't wobble at all. Like, well, now it does, but you know, it doesn't fall over. Let's attach my atomizer, and fires quite nicely. It has got some heft to it, very much like the original. The original is quite heavy. The clone maybe not as heavy, but still quite bulky and quite durable feeling. The construction is solid. It doesn't feel cheap in the hand at all. And all in all, like I said, just a really, really good mechanical mod. Now, the one issue I have had with this, and that I've seen that others have as well, you may notice there's a little gap. That gap, in fact, was bigger when I first got it. It was probably like this. And if you're like me, you like to flush mount things, stuff like this really, really, really bothers me. However, there is a fix for it. It is not too hard to do. A little annoying, I wish there wasn't, but in the clone world, nothing's perfect. What is happening is that pin there should float up and down, should move freely. This Delrin piece here is too tight, so this copper pin is really having a hard time going up and down. So when I first attached the atomizer to it, I had quite a gap. Now, the one way to fix this, you will need two things. Either an Allen key, or in my case, I used a square-headed screwdriver. Just ensure that the top of whatever you're using is flat. I kind of marked my pin a little bit doing this, but you basically want to put this against your leg or something, put that in the top, and then very gently bang it with a hammer. And what that will do is that will, as you can see, the copper base there has risen a little bit from the black Delrin insulator part. For me, that little 0.5 millimeter, 1 millimeter jutting out portion is enough for me to fit most of my atomizers in close to flush. If you further want to really fix this to make it float totally without having to bang it every time you put a different atomizer on, you would bang that copper portion out all the way, take a small hand file, and very gently file the hole in the black Delrin a little bit bigger, and then insert the copper piece again, and then whenever you attach an atomizer, that copper portion should be able to move back and forth with no problem. But for me, I just banged it out about 1 millimeter, so you can see it sticks out just a little bit there, and that's enough for my OCD to be satisfied to put atomizers on top of it. You know, it's not perfectly flush, but it's pretty close, and honestly, that's good enough for me. So let's go back out, and I'll show you. I'll give you a couple of vapes, and let's go. So the Panzer clone, very pretty, nice and big. It's got some really good feel to it, good heft. And yeah, working really well. Like, the performance of any mech mod is really going to depend on the build of your atomizer, you know, the resistance. You know, I can't stress safety enough. If you are going to be rebuilding, ensure that you're using the right batteries, you're not doing stupid stuff. But I mean, it hits well. You know, and just to compare it, I'll take the same atomizer, and I'll put it on my Blackhawk. The Blackhawk has a freshly charged battery in it, I hope. No, it doesn't have any battery, so we'll just stick a freshly charged bat in there, screw it down. To me, it feels like the exact same vape. You know, some reviewers out there will stick an inline voltmeter and multimeter everything out. You know, I go on taste. You know, I've been sub-ohming for quite some time now. I can usually tell when a mod is hitting right, and they both hit. They both hit pretty equally. You know, near identical. I have not been able to tell a difference as of yet. So whether or not the copper contacts really make that much of a difference in the Blackhawk versus the clone, to be determined if you're really picky, you know, such is life. But Needless to say, for the price point for this clone, I am really happy with it. Working like a charm. You'll notice, you know, my configuration of the bottom switch is near flat. I can put it down and it's not firing on its own. It does, you know, take a very minimal amount of force for that to fire. It's a very comfortable switch, and like I said, feels really, really good in the hand. So there you have it, the Panzer clone from HappyVaper.com. A great mech. Peace out.